Hey guys, Tony Maritato here. I was recently asked, for all of you who are at home not receiving physical therapy, what's the best way to measure your own joint range of motion if you don't have a physical therapist around to do it for you? So you guys have all seen, and I'll put a link in the description of this video on where you can buy these on Amazon. There is no limit to the number of little tools and gadgets and things that we can use. I'm going to show you kind of the easiest way to do it on your own. I'll show you a little more complicated way to do it on your own. But before I do any of that, I want you to understand something. So if you guys take a look at this, let me see if I can get the camera. This is 90 degrees right there, right? This arm, the horizontal arm, the vertical arm. If I go to here, that's 5 degrees off. This is 90, this is 95. If you guys don't see it, it's because it's very subtle. And this is what I'm talking about when I tell you guys, don't get hung up on the number. The numbers don't mean anything. You didn't get a knee replacement so you could get a better number on a device like this. You got a knee replacement so you could go walk in the park without pain, so you could play with your grandkids, so you can get off the commode without help. That's why you got a knee replacement. So I don't like this. I think there's no benefit to this. At best, it makes you feel bad because you're not achieving some arbitrary number. But if you're absolutely just dead set on, I want to measure my range of motion, I want the number for peace of mind, I'm going to show you guys how to do it, okay? And I still think this is probably the easiest. You can usually get these for under $10. So let's just say, for example, I'm sitting at home, I don't have somebody who can help me. How do I use this silly thing? This is what we do. First, we want to try to find the center of the knee. And so, assuming your knee is somewhat swollen and limited range of motion, you're going to be guessing at this anyway. But let me pull this up. So if I feel around on the sides of my knee, I can feel what we call the joint line. I can feel where the tibial bone comes up, the femoral bone comes down, and I can feel a little bit of a gap in between there. When the knee's really swollen, you might not feel it all that well. But once I somewhat can figure out what I'm calling the pivot point, then I'm going to use that as my center. And what I'm going to do is, all of these devices have this little hole in the middle. So I'm going to line that up with what's basically the center of the knee. You can get a marker or a pen, and you might be able to create a little dot on the knee where the center point is. Even if it's not exactly in the center, the goal is that you measure consistently every time. So even if you're a little bit off center, as long as you set the goniometer up the same way every time, you're still going to be able to measure change. Change is what we're looking for. We don't care about the absolute number. I want to know, it was this when I started, it's this when I'm finished. I either improved or I did. That's what you're looking for. So let's say I put a little dot right there. I line that dot up. Now, if you guys can see down at the ankle, what I'm looking for is there's a bump on the outside of my ankle. I want to line this up with that bump the best I can. What I would do is, again, there's a hole there, so you can put a little dot through that hole, so I'm lined up the same way. So I've got a dot on my knee, I've got a dot down here. I'll keep that in position. You will be able to feel the pointy part of your hip. A lot of times if somebody develops hip bursitis, when they push on that pointy part, it's really painful. That's consistent with hip bursitis, but you're looking for that bone that sticks out kind of right behind, here's my pocket, right behind that pocket. I want to try and line this arm up with that bone, that protuberance, the best I can. I would put another dot here. So now I've got 3 dots. A dot at the top, a dot at the bottom, a dot in the middle. I'm lining those up. I'm going to bend my knee as far as I feel comfortable, as far as it'll let me go. Remember, discomfort is okay. We don't need pain. And most of these devices are specifically designed to be kind of tight. So when I take it off, Now I can look at it and I can see what my measurement is. And so right here I'm looking at 84 degrees. I'm not up to 90 degrees in this position. And then usually what we try to do is we say, look, if you're going to be super nitpicky, you can do 3 measurements. So from here I straighten it out, I let everything relax, I come back in, I find my center dot, I find my lower dot, I find my upper dot, I'm bending as far as I can into my end range of motion. When I feel like that's as far as I'm going to go, I take it off, I look, and now I'm at 85 degrees. As long as you're within 1 or 2 degree different between the 3 measurements, you're pretty consistent. Now, I might do my exercises, I might do my mobilizations, do whatever it is you're going to do to improve the range. I come back, I find my 3 dots, I line up again, I bring it into position, I peel it off, and hopefully, you know, it's reasonable that within an episode of working out and range of motion, you gain a couple degrees. You shouldn't lose any range of motion. It's not bad if you stay where you are, but it's reasonable to say, well, I gained 3 degrees or I gained 5 degrees. Certainly if you're, you know, depending on where you are in the rehab process, you might be gaining more, you might be gaining less. But this is consistently kind of the tool of choice for those of you who just absolutely need to have a number to sleep well at night. That being said, what are some other options? So these little guys, depending on where you are in the world, I get these at Home Depot. These can be called inclinometers. There is a way that you can use these, and I'm not going to get into it too much now, but where basically I would put one up on my thigh, I would put one down on my shin. And what I'm doing is I'm doing a little bit of math calculation so that I'm subtracting how much above 0 or 90 degrees I am here, and then what my range of motion measurement is down here. And again, I'm looking for change, right? So if this number on top, just to give you a rough estimate, let's say this is sitting at 20, and this one down here is sitting at 60. And I can get it, you know, so that now this one is sitting at 25, and this one down here is sitting at 70. So I gained 15 degrees, right? It's the change, not necessarily the absolute. These are all ways that you can do it. Finally, kind of, you obviously, most of you guys are going to be somewhat familiar with this. This is a strap specific for stretching. You can use a dog leash, you can use anything. But if I put this far loop around my foot, if I lay on my side, see if you guys can see it, and let's say I do it the same every day, that's going to be the goal. So if I lay down and I bring this up, now personally, when I'm stretching, I like the strap to be on the inside of the leg. I like it to allow my hip to open up. It's just a different position. But if I was going to measure my range of motion, I would set this up on the outside so the knee is as straight as it can possibly be as I'm bringing this up. And you just determine, you know, let's say you look at this and here's 1 loop, here's 2 loops, here's the 3rd loop. And today I can get that 3rd loop up to my shoulder. And so then as I go higher, as I get more flexion, then maybe I get closer to the 4th loop. Maybe I put a little Sharpie mark on here to indicate how much higher I'm moving every day. There's lots of different ways for you to measure. The number, again, isn't as important as the improvement. Improvement is what we're looking for. Now guys, I also got a lot of questions on swelling and pain and inflammation. I'm going to record that in the next video, but hopefully this information was helpful. If you want what I believe is the absolute easiest way to measure improvement, Reference the video. I'll put a link up here that I did the other day where I was sitting in the hallway in a chair. My toe was against the wall, and as I was scooting forward, I could measure the distance between my knee and the wall. And the closer I got to the wall, the more bend I got in my knee. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate the questions. The more questions you bring me, the better answers I can bring you. If you're new to the channel, please take a minute and subscribe. Your subscription helps me grow the channel and helps me reach more people. The more people I reach, the more people hopefully I can help. Guys, have an amazing weekend. I'll catch you on the next video.